Hello folks, you find me on my son's BMW R Nine T tonight, and I'm taking it across to Tayport. I'm going to tell you how I feel about this motorbike. Now this is my second attempt at trying to record this. The first one was kind of spoiled by the windscreen that we had up, the shield, but as you can see that windscreen has been removed. And I can tell you, it's a huge difference. Major improvement. I'll get a huge amount of buffeting off the last one, even with the screen extender on it. And the bike probably looks better for it as well. So let's see how this gets on. I had the bike now for a couple of weeks. It's the only bike I've used bar one occasion when I took the NT out for a run. And I'm getting to know it. Now, I've got to tell you that I think this view of the bike has changed slightly from my original one, because I've only had it a few days again. I've ridden it a few times, of course, but not for any length of time. Maybe take it out for a couple of hours and give it back to my son. But since I've been running about on this, I've actually grown to enjoy it. It's different from many of my other bikes. It's got some really good points. It's got some not so good points. So let's start with the rotten stuff from my point of view. And just before we do that, these roadworks on the bridge are here till about Christmas. It's a nightmare at rush hour. It's okay tonight, but these poor folk that commute back and forward every day, it must be horrendous. However, so let's start with the bad points, get them out of the way. I'm not sold on the looks. So this is BMW's take on a modern classic, I think. It's okay, but I'm not a fan. Regardless how long I've had this bike, my view's not changed on it. My son, on the other hand, thinks this is the best looking bike he's ever seen in his life, and he loves it. This is his dream motorcycle, and so the bike won't be going anywhere anytime soon. But for me, the looks are a big no-no. Not that keen on it. So what else do I not particularly care for on this bike? I think you could sum it up in comfort. You can do an hour and a half, and then after that the bike's really uncomfortable. The seat, which I believe it's well known for, it's just not comfortable at all. I did suggest to my lad that this bike would be transformed with a comfort seat, and of course, what did he say? Then it'd ruin the looks of the bike. So it's all subjective, of course. So comfort wise, it gets really uncomfortable pretty quick. And when we went away on a couple of tours last year, I've no idea how he managed to sit on a motorbike for 5-6 hours. I couldn't do that on this bike. Well, at least I don't think so. Although my backside's become accustomed to it as I've ridden it for the last fortnight. You're canted a little bit forward, and you can, if you're not careful, be leaning on your wrists very slightly, or at least I am. And I know my lad had mentioned that he thought a set of bar risers would help it, so that probably just suggests where they are. The legs are okay, seated position's okay in terms of the bend on the knee, but overall I don't think the comfort is certainly what I'm used to. When you compare it to my Royal Enfield and my NT 1100, it's nowhere near that level of comfort. The NC, even with its hard seat, is far more comfortable in this. For me anyway, right? Just remember, this is me. It's not anyone else. This is my opinion. And that, I think, is the only two bits of the bike that are not appealing to me. Excuse me a moment, I just need to make sure everything's safe. Right, so that's not bad, is it? It's the looks and the hardness of the seat are the two major drawbacks for me. Now then, let's get to the good points. Let's start with what I think is the best point. This is a 2017 bike. My son's had it from almost new. Yeah, almost new, I would say. It was the next demonstrator, I believe. I don't think he's sure about it, but that's what's in my mind. The bike's done 6,800. It's less than 7,000 miles anyway, as of recording this. And it's in really, really nice nick. It's just not been run very much, that's the problem. The engine is the 1200 variant of the BMW Boxer Ranger, and it's got loads of oomph. It's got lots of torque. For those that like these things, it sounds very nice. It's got acrobatic exhausts, and it burbles away. So the engine is terrific. It's also quite frugal when you drive it carefully. I did a quick calculation on it, and the running that I've done, it's in excess of 50 miles to the gallon, which for 1200 is astonishing. I filled up, the benchmark is 130 miles. It's worth noting that there's no fuel gauge on that. That's another bad point to this, of course. The rotten lack of provision of a fuel gauge, so he has to measure the mileage. So my lad does 130 miles, and then he starts to get range anxiety and fill it up. Now the first time I filled it up, I put in something like 12 litres, and I think this is a 17 litre tank. And I worked it out, and it was about 50 to the gallon or something. When I did 130 the last time I went to fill it up, I only put 9 litres in, and it was 50 odd miles to the gallon. Excuse me a moment. Got it. So quite a frugal engine. So the engine is exceptional. It's fast. It makes you want to ride fast, and it's quite exciting. The suspension on this is kind of in the middle. It's pretty hard. It kind of contributes to the harshness of the comfort at times. But of course, with a stiff suspension, you're always going to get this. It's non-adjustable on this one. It's non-adjustable apart from preload on the back, as far as I can tell. So you're stuck with what you've got. The hard suspension probably leads to the good sporty performance, but affects comfort. So not a lover of it, but it's okay. I took it down some of the back roads that I normally do on my other bikes, and I didn't realise some of them were as bumpy and as rough as I experienced when riding this thing. There we go. Youngster now hooked on bikes. Yeah, look at that. That's strange, isn't it? So that's the suspension. Handlebars are fine. A little bit canted forward, but that's okay. He's got bar end mirrors on this one. He took the main mirrors off and put the bar ends, and actually they're surprisingly good. They give you a really good rear view. One of the things I do love about this bike, twin dials, analog dials. Oh, how I've missed analog dials. Absolutely magnificent. I do enjoy seeing a pair of twin dials. Now, there was only one when he got this bike, because I think this is a scrambler variant, and he added that at great expense. The tyres on this bike are Metzler 2 Rants. It was the same tyres I had on my VFR, and it's the same tyres I've got on my NC, and they do the job just fine. It's a 2 Rants 2 on the back, and he replaced the tyre and he put the newest one on. So, but the bike handles well. It's sure-footed, gives you plenty of confidence. Now, I'm not sure if this is open down here. But we shall see. Oh, it looks like it. Yeah, kind of open. I might get chased, but you know, who dares wins. There we go. Big black cloud, so I better get my finger out and get a move on. So this is the Tayport Harbour. Across there is where I introduced the NT1100. But this is how you get to the other side of the dock. And very nice it is too. In front of you, you see the BMW R Nine T. You see my lads. He's got crash bars on it, and he's got the bag on the back, which is fine. Oil cooled, oil and air, and there we go. That's what it looks like. Twin exhaust at the back here. Very compact bike. There we go. Look at that. Yeah, that's lucky. So I expect to hand this bike back pretty soon, but there's another one coming, but we'll let you know about that. Shaft drive, like the shaft drive, very nice. I really do like the shaft drive. No maintenance, no chain maintenance. It has a steering damper, and all in all, a nice little bike. I think it's about 230 kilos, which is about 20 kilos less than my NT, but this feels a heavier bike, believe it or not, but it's still manageable. And there we are there. It's all quiet down here. The tide's quite out. You can see by the seaweed levels over there, and not many folk about tonight. And there we go. Forget about the recorder. That's a little test that I'm doing. The other audio that you're hearing tonight is off of the DJI. So there we go. I'm just trying some stuff out, folks. And that's my view on the R9 T. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying a naked bike. I'm enjoying the power and the sprint capabilities of this bike, and of course it sits at 70 miles an hour plus all day long. But then you're then getting the buffeting from doing those kind of speeds. Okay. Let's go. Put the screen down. I cannot really think of anything else I can mention about it. I did get asked a question through some of the comments that I've had on previous videos on this bike, and that is, would I buy one? Ultimately no, because the looks of the bike and it don't do it for me, and I've got to like the look of a bike. When I did the last video that was spoilt by the noise, it was particularly bad on this stretch. Now, of course, you're going to get wind, but it's clean air. And it's probably usable at the end of the day. Getting a good view of the city today. Plenty of rigs in for a bit of work. Well, I hope you've enjoyed my little review of this motorcycle. I'll be handing it back shortly, hopefully, because I need the space. But I've enjoyed having it, and I've put over 200 miles on it, I would say. And until the next time, thanks for watching, see you again, bye bye.